Here's everything you might have missed in the Stranger Things 4 Volume 2 trailer. Ever since the dramatic conclusion of Stranger Things 4 Volume 1, we've been bumping Kate Bush's Runnin' Up That Hill on repeat and searching for our own Vecna-proof earworms. And while Drake's new album did not help with that at all, at least we have a new trailer for Stranger Things 4 Volume 2. The dramatic trailer, set to a mashup of the Stranger Things theme and Running Up That Hill, offers a thrilling look at the epic conclusion to this supersized season. With just 2 episodes in Volume 2, including one that clocks in over 2 hours long, it's gonna have to wrap up a metric ton of storylines. And while we had plenty of questions following the Volume 1 finale, the new trailer offers plenty of clues about what to expect as we head into Volume 2. Now we're going to break it all down for you in just a moment, but in order to do so, we have to spoil what happens in Stranger Things 4 Volume 1. So if you haven't seen it yet and you're worried about that sort of thing, leave now while you still can.
Chop, chop. Let's go.
Okay, let's get into it, shall we? The trailer opens with Dr. Brenner touching a massive crack in the wall of the Hawkins lab in the aftermath of Henry Creel's massacre. On that fateful night after Eleven was tricked into removing the Soteria device that repressed Henry Creel's powers, we saw just how powerful the patient formerly known as One really is. Now, Brenner was injured by a giant metal door flying off the hinges during that attack, and we see that reflected here in his bloodied look. Based on the damage to the wall and the piece of shattered glass in the foreground, this appears to be the wall where Eleven yeeted Henry into the Upside Down, a trip that ultimately turned him into Vecna. And I believe that also turned the Upside Down into the version of Hawkins, which is frozen in time. Now, it seems like this could be a continuity error at first glance. If you recall, back in Season 1, there was a portal that opened to the Upside Down that let the Demogorgon into Hawkins. But I don't think that's the same one into which Henry Creel went that turned him into Vecna. I think that portal closed, and the one we see in Season 1 was a brand new portal that reopened because they were using Eleven to project into the astral plane to eavesdrop on the Russians. After that, we see Lucas, Max, Dustin, Eddie, Robin, Erica, Steve, and Nancy all decked out like they're in a Red Dawn militia driving a Winnebago. As we see later in the trailer, it appears they're bringing the fight directly to the Creel House in both our world and the Upside Down. However, based on Max and Eleven being in Vecna's mind lair, it seems like this battle could be waged across 3 fronts simultaneously: the real world, the Upside Down, and the mind lair. Also, clearly Nancy winds up escaping the Upside Down despite that cliffhanger we leave her on in Volume 1. But she also winds up gaining insight into Vecna's memories of the massacre at Hawkins' lab. We see her staring down Vecna in a hallway full of bodies. After that, Brenner tries to warn Eleven that she isn't ready for this fight and Hawkins will fall, but she still walks away kinda like Luke Skywalker leaving Yoda in Empire Strikes Back. At one point, Will tells Mike he's not going to stop, not until he's taken everyone. Now, here Will could be talking about Vecna given his connection to the Upside Down dating back to Season 1. But I think he's actually talking about the Mind Flayer, the ostensible big bad of the Upside Down, because he has no idea who Vecna is beyond having played D&D. Remember, the Upside Down existed before Vecna. He's a 5-star general in the Mind Flayer's army, to use the gang's own parlance. And there's still one more season where the Hawkins folks will likely need to stop the Mind Flayer once and for all. Later in the trailer, Will hugs his brother Jonathan while crying. So maybe he's finally telling his brother what he'd been trying to tell his best friend all during Volume 1. As many have theorized, Will could be coming out to his brother in this scene. Or maybe he's just stressed that his mom is missing and they'll never taste Murray's risotto again.
You kids like risotto?
Yeah.
Next is a shot of Max inside the Creel House bathed in blue light from a lantern, preparing to hit play on the world's hardest working Walkman. As we see later in the trailer, she goes to the Creel House with Lucas and Erica, maybe to act as bait for Vecna to draw him out. However, they're not the only ones drawn to the Creel House. Jason and the rest of the basketball vigilante gang track down Lucas and company. Unfortunately for Jason, after effing around, he's about to find out as Lucas beats his ass in the Creel House attic. Clearly, though, that is the least terrifying thing that happens there based on the shot of Lucas screaming and looking upward. After a brief shot of the red lightning walls that Henry passed through into the Upside Down, Eddie grabs his trusty axe and electric guitar inside the Upside Down version of his trailer. Later on, Eddie rocks out on top of his family's trailer, maybe to lure Vecna away or the Demobats away from his friends. It looks like Dustin is sitting next to him here as well, which makes sense based on the fact they seem separated from the others later in the trailer. This is one of 2 major forays into the Upside Down in Volume 2. One is to mount a rescue mission to save Nancy, with Steve rappelling down a rope made of sheets inside the Munson trailer. The other is to take the fight directly to Vecna in the Creel House once our heroes find weapons. Back in the Russian prison, Hopper, Joyce, and Murray continue to investigate the weird upside-down experiments they've apparently been conducting there. In the background, there are bodies floating in large vats of formaldehyde, maybe of other upside-down creatures. They ultimately walk towards a large containment cell full of swirling red mist, which is maybe a gateway to the upside-down itself. Later, we see a demo dog and the Demogorgon rampaging through the prison, putting the goo back in Gulag. At one point, we see Hopper coming face to face with a Demogorgon or a Demodog like Ripley does with a Xenomorph in Alien 3. Unfortunately for Hopper though, it was not a good day as he clearly had to use his AK and later on a sword as well. Thankfully, we know how they'll likely stop the Demogorgon in an homage to The Thing, with Murray using a flamethrower like an absolute madman. Later, Steve, Nancy, and Robin, decked out in militia gear, walk through the trailer park in the Upside Down, armed to the teeth. They ultimately make their way to the Creel House alongside Dustin and Eddie later on. Robin teases another death back in the real world, saying it might not work out for us this time. So who's gonna die here? Is it Steve Harrington? I mean, he certainly does love playing the hero, but then again, we could see Nancy sacrifice herself to atone for her guilt over Barb's death. And while we see Robin entangled in Vecna's tentacles in the Creel House, I don't think it's her time to go just yet. Now, the Hawkins gang is betting everything on their desperate pincer maneuver to battle Vecna in the real world and the Upside Down simultaneously. After all, how could Vecna possibly withstand Eddie Munson's trash can lid shield and makeshift sword combo, along with whatever the hell Dustin's wearing here? Who knows? But Vecna certainly seems confident that everything is going according to plan. He tells someone, maybe Max or 11, that it's over. Now I just want you to watch. Your friends have lost. And with that said, we're still trying to unravel Vecna's master plan here. Clearly, he has a very bleak view of humanity. Time is frozen in the Upside Down, and he's targeting emotionally vulnerable teens to drain them of their life force, embed them in strange obelisks, and leave behind additional rifts in reality. So is he trying to systematically weaken the barrier between Hawkins and the Upside Down once and for all? Only time and his creepy grandfather clock will tell. Through piecing together multiple shots, we can see the military finally tracks down 11 to that secret lab in Nevada. At one point, we see her on oxygen while soldiers open fire in a nearby hallway. After that, we see her in street clothes using her psychic powers to fend off intruders before being carried to safety by Dr. Brenner. Of course, the coolest part is when she goes full Akira and blows the military convoy to smithereens outside the lab. Honestly, good thing the Surfer Boy pizza van's on the way to give her a ride because she blew up every other viable vehicle.
Hold on to your butts, brochachos.
We also see 11 in her Project Nina aquatherapy outfit on a bridge near what appears to be a record player above people roller skating. And if you look at the sky, it begins to erupt with red upside-down lightning. So could this be 11 challenging Vecna? Or could it be another parallel maneuver with Eddie Munson playing music in the Upside Down during a similar red lightning storm? Regardless, we know that somehow 11 will find her way to Vecna's mind lair inside the Creel House so she can square off with Henry Creel one more time. Anyway, folks, there you have it. That is everything we spotted in the Stranger Things 4 Volume 2 trailer, and we'll be waiting with bated breath until Volume 2 hits Netflix on July 1st. In the meantime, though, tell us, what did you think of this trailer? Did you spot anything that we missed? And who do you think is going to die in Volume 2?
You first.
Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, make sure you stay tuned to Nerdist.com.